name's Jan Radu. Thanks for joining me here on stampingelegance.com, and today I am bringing a project that features brand new product from the mini catalogue, January to June, from Stampin' Up, and I will be using the Sweet Strawberry Bundle, which is a really cute stamp set combined with a punch. And I'll also be using some of the free Celebration products that you can receive or earn with a qualifying order. And I'm using the Designer Series paper and also the Berry Blessings stamp set, which is earned as a bundle for free with any order of 180 Australian dollars. So the colours, as you can see, are really gorgeous, and I've been sharing a lot of projects over on my Instagram this week, so I thought I would jump on and show you a little video. This is the card that we'll be making today. I've actually been inspired layout wise from Jennifer Maguire, who I love following her technique videos on YouTube, and she often comes back to this layout when she's a little stuck for inspiration. I thought it would be fun to give it a go, and I'm just pairing it with, as I said, the DSP. We've got a little bit of stamping and some embellishments here, and yeah, I hope you enjoy the project. Let's get started. So my base is Whisper White thick cardstock cut to a standard card size, and I will just score that with my trimmer. So just scoring in half, measuring that up at 10.5, score that one there, and we'll just fold that in half. Crease that down with my bone folder. Okay, so next I will just attach down the DSP panel. So this is one of the prints from the DSP, and you can see the backside's really sweet there too. I really like the pinks, the reds, and the little hint of yellow in here. Okay, so next we're going to create this feature mat here. Now I'm using crumb cake cardstock. I'm going to spritz that with my mixture of shimmer paint, So Saffron Reinker, and rubbing alcohol. I'll just bring in my box here. Just captures all of the spray. So we'll just give that a liberal, I like to try and get a few big dots as well. So just different depressions. So some light little sprays and some big deep sprays gives you that kind of mottled effect. And so I'll just use my heat gun now to dry that off, ready for embossing. So I've dried that off, and you can see there's lots of nice sparkle and shine there. So I'm using the rectangle stitched framelit dies. This is the second largest rectangle, and I'll just run that through my cutting machine, and then we can emboss it. Okay, so we've got that nice stitch shape there. And I'm now going to run that through I believe this is called the Texture Impression embossing folder. I'll have to check that one for you. So I'm just going to run that through, and just to step up the texture on there. So I wasn't even close on that one. So that embossing folder is called the Tasteful Textile 3D folder. And you'll see here it just creates that really nice texture there. And then you've got all that shine as well. I hope you can see that on the camera. Okay, so the next step is to just measure up the angle that we want on here. So the way that I've done it is essentially this corner needs to be lined up on the pattern paper, and then I brought it down just to create an angle, and of course it doesn't have to be exactly the same, just to create an angle there on the edge. So the first step I've done is to make a little mark just there with my pencil, and I know I'm going to cut across there and a little mark there. So I'm essentially going to use my trimmer and cut across there, and then that mark I'll be cutting down to there. So I'll show you how I did that. So I'm lining up my pencil marks, so this one here to that one there, and then I'm lining up the corner here to the pencil mark there. And that gives me the shape that I'm looking for. So I am actually going to be popping this one up on dimensionals, and I've got some linen thread here that I'm just going to tie around the bottom section. So I've got a little bit of tape here, and I'll just tape that down. And then once that's done, I don't have to worry so much about this moving. I can go ahead and adhere it down, and then I can tie my bow once it's in place. Gold hoop embellishments today, and I've also got these gorgeous little ladybug trinkets that came in that are in the mini. So I've been using these on a few of my cards as well, and they're just adorable. They're perfectly sized for a glue dot to adhere to your card. So there's a little tip for you, and I found they're really quite stable. Once you pop that glue dot on, they really don't want to move anywhere, so that's great. Let's go ahead and do some stamping. So I'm stamping with photopolymer today, so I've got my Stampin' Pierce mat ready to go, and I've got some of our Whisper White cardstock. Now the colours that I've used for this strawberry is Cherry Cobbler as an outline and Poppy Parade as the main stamp, so this is two-step stamping. And then for the greenery, I'm using Old Olive as the outline and Granny Apple Green as the background stamp. So I'll do the strawberry first. I just wanted to show you as well. One of the sheets of the DSP is this one here, which actually does match perfectly with the punch. So here is the punch. So it's the Strawberry Builder punch, and it does actually punch out the leaf, the strawberry, and the little flower in that DSP. And just to give you an idea of what that looks like, so there's the punched out DSP, and there's the stamped version. So you've got two options. This can definitely be a little quicker option for you. I actually still, even when I'm using this one, like to stamp the little stem, because I find the punch doesn't perfectly match the little stem on there, but that's just me. So that's two different looks that you can get there. So thinking about the location of the shapes on the punch, the strawberry is here. So what you really want to be doing is stamping the strawberry in this orientation, so that when you put it in the punch, you're aligned to be able to punch that out. And again, when you're stamping the stem, if you stamp it with the stem facing that way, then you are perfectly in line to pop it in there. Otherwise you find you're twisting and turning the paper trying to make it work. So if you just have a note of that before you start, it makes it much quicker. So I've also found that stamping the outline first gives me a better base to line up the two-step stamping. So if I show you that one there, and then Granny Apple Green for the secondary stamp, and I'm just going to lean over so I get a good impression. I'm just lining up as best I can, and the beauty with these is that they don't have to be perfect and they still look great. Okay, so I'm placing my image in there, trying to get it as lined up as possible. That's that one there. And now for the strawberry, I'll start with the outline. And using that dark Cherry Cobbler just gives you that little bit more depth of colour, rather than using the same colour to stamp both. And you can do that. You can either just stamp them and have a more tone on tone effect, or you could actually stamp this one in Poppy Parade once, and then stamp this one, stamp off first, and then you'll get a larger impression. So that's using the same ink but getting two variants of colour. But if you've got a couple of reds in your collection, why not have a bit of a play? And I like to leave the stamp down for a couple of seconds too. It just gives the ink time to transfer. And now I can just feed it into my punch. line it up, and away we go. Okay, so we can just assemble the strawberry now and pop that aside to dry. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Tombow on there and just pop the stalk in place. Okay, so this leaf here actually comes from the Celebration set. So Berry Blessings comes with the pack of DSP together with a $180 order. So if you've got a bit of a wish list, it's great to take that opportunity to, during Celebration, which runs for a couple of months, you can get that double set if you're lucky enough to be placing a qualifying order. So I'm just going to use this stamp here. I'm going to use the same colour combination, and this one doesn't have a matching punch, so I'll just be fussy cutting this one. Just do my placement, and I usually do two just in case the fussy cutting goes wrong, or like with this one the ink doesn't quite go all the way through your impression. Yeah, it's a much better impression there. And for the secondary stamp, just make sure that's inked up nicely, and I'm just going to go over and match as many points as possible. So I'll just fussy cut that one out and we can move to the next step. So I've got my leaf, I've got my strawberry, and I've just got the two flowers to stamp now. And I have used a combination of Calypso Coral and Blushing Bride for this one, and Daffodil Delight and So Saffron for this one. For the sentiment on my card, I'm using the Hello There from the Sweet Strawberry stamp set, and I'm using the Lovely Labels Builder Punch to create that really nice shape on the end there. So for the Builder Punch, there are 3 different widths that you can punch, and you get the 3-stepped variation. So the one that I'm using is the most narrow, and that's 1/2 inch or 1.25. So I've cut my strips 1.25, and they're just going to slide into the punch. So when I'm stamping on here, I know I'm going to lose 1/2 centimetre on this end when I punch, so I'm just going to try and position my sentiment so that I've still got a nice gap on the end for the little ladybug embellishment. So I've got my Hello There on my block, and I'm going to be stamping in Cherry Cobbler, and I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that I can stamp this straight on camera. Let's see how we go. And I'm pretty happy with that. Again, don't underestimate that holding of the stamp down on the paper to allow the ink to transfer. It really does make a big difference. So I'm just going to open my punch. This is the one I'm going to be putting it in here. So I'm going to slide it, okay, I want it on this end. So I'm going to slide it into the channel, and I'm going to push it all the way through, but then I'm going to make sure that it's actually lined up evenly in the middle so that my shape is even when it punches. And that is so simple. So on this one here, we've already raised this panel, and this one here that is just going to get a dimensional on the end and a little bit of Tombow on this end here. So we'll pop the dimensional there. A little touch of Tombow there, it doesn't need very much at all. Peel that one off, and I'm just going to use my grid lines to help me line this one up as straight as I possibly can. And I'm just going to hold that one down just for a second to let that Tombow dry. And let's put our ladybug on there. So I'll pull that one out. I've got my mini glue dots ready to go. So I'm just going to line that body up with the glue dot. I'm assuming Stampin' Up have done that thinking for us because it really is a perfect size. And then we'll just put him there on a little angle, like he's just dropped by to say hello. And now we just need to assemble our gold ring embellishment. So I positioned mine as if the little bow is sitting on the gold ring, or hoop, I should say. So we're going to put it somewhere like that, but first what I'm going to do is just attach that piece and the flowers to each other. So the way I've done that is just with some glue dots again. So if I pop a couple of glue dots on the hoop, so I'm just picking them up on the hoop, roughly where I think that leaf is going to go. Make sure they're on, coming around to the front there. And then I'm just going to position my leaf to pick up those glue dots, and if you've just pop them up a little bit further if you need to. So that's there and there. Okay, and what you can do as well, just for a little bit of extra security, is just use a little bit of sticky tape and just tape that piece to the hoop. So by just using a few little strips of sticky tape, you can just get a little bit more of a secure stick on there. And then you can work with it knowing it's nice and firmly stuck down there. In terms of actually sticking this one down, you can put a bunch of glue dots on there, but I actually just put a little bit of a dab of hot glue from my hot glue gun on there, and then I know that's absolutely not going anywhere. So I've got my hot glue on there, and I'm just going to slide the ring down to where I want it and just press that in place. And now we can go ahead and assemble all of our pieces. So for the flowers, I'm just going to add the yellow one down here with a little bit of Tombow. So we'll just pop that on, hold that in place for a second. The Calypso Coral and Blushing Bride, I'm going to use a mini dimensional, and I'm just going to pop that up around about there. Then for my strawberry, I'm just going to double up on some dimensionals just so that it's a little bit higher. So we'll pop 2 down there. I've got fumbly fingers today. And then I'm just going to double up directly on top of those dimensionals. Peel those off, and then just nestle my strawberry in underneath that one and just find the spot that you like in there. And that's the card for today. I hope you enjoyed the project and you have a little bit of inspiration on how you can use these brand new products. If you're interested in ordering anything from the mini catalogue, or you want to take part in our celebration promotion, just leave me a comment, send me a message, and I can help you out. Thanks for joining me today.